Welcome to your favorite YouTube channel. Do not forget to like, comment, and click the red button below your screen to subscribe on Custom Reports TV.
Hello and thanks for staying with us. Nigerian customs impound more contraband from smugglers operating in the country. Also on customs reports, ACG speaks on border closure by the management. Plus more report. I am Igiseme Idinye. Stay tuned. The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service has said that the border closure will further promote local producers of rice in the country. The custom boss made the declaration in Lagos at the Chamber of Commerce headquarters in Lagos. He was represented by the Assistant Controller General of Customs in charge of Zone A. In his paper, the Controller General of Customs urged rice farmers to continue to implement government policies without fear or favor. The CG also said that governments of other African countries have started sharing information on how to make the border work when it is opened. The chairman of Chamber of Commerce has this to say.
So if we allow just anything to come into Nigeria, you will see that there will be, the spread of arms and ammunition into the hands of people who shouldn't actually carry them. And it will pass through us and get into other countries, like the landlocked neighbors that we have. So the closure is making sure that that does not happen anymore. Then do we have price control? Yes, we have. That is why we have the valuation units. Valuation simply means harmonizing the values of imports. It means harmonizing the values of imports. You look at what this person is importing and you look at what the other person is importing. If there are any variances, that is where valuation officers come in and they make sure it does not happen, because everybody ends up in the same market. And then talking of quality, have you ever wondered the work of ISO, International Standard Organization? Have you ever wondered? There was a time I went to the WCO for a meeting and they were talking of fake products. They were talking of fake products coming into Nigeria, that Nigeria is a safe, haven for these fake products. In fact, there was nothing they did not call us. A paper was presented by one elderly American. While the presentation was going on, I just said, Holy Spirit, teach me what to say to these people. And guess what? The pen, I am talking of PEN, that I had was given to me as a souvenir from my immediate boss, bought from the WCO Secretariat, proudly with WCO logo. Do you know that within 2 weeks, I started using that pen? That beautiful burgundy colored pen just became black. And as God will have it, I had it there with me. So when we talked of Nigeria being a haven for fake products, I now raised it up. I said, look at this pen. It was bought right here in the WCO headquarters, and with WCO logo proudly inscribed, on it. So what do you think? Now tell me, is it only Nigeria? Is it only Africa? What is the work of the International Standard Organization? What are they doing? If they are doing their work why would these fake products be leaving their countries of origin? So that was the question I asked them. Then the man who made that presentation came to me and said, why did you bring out that paper? I said, why would I bring it out? Did I lie? I didn't lie. It was all right here. So, talking of fake products, it's everywhere. I just gave you that little story as an example. When you talk of quality, there are agencies that control different standards of quality. If you talk of drugs, NAFDAC is there. If you talk of qualities, like standards, you talk of standard organization. And these agencies must append their signature before custom releases anything. This has become the burning issue now in this country. The border closure happened because there is no non-compliance. We always say people should comply to either the clearance procedures or protocols, international protocols. Once there is compliance, then there won't be anything like this. It's because there had not been any compliance. That is why you're finding this. Well, people have their opinions, just like I have mine too. The truth has to be told. Our neighbors let them just comply to the protocols and everything will be fine. We are not happy with this because some of our people are also suffering. There are genuine people out there and they are suffering because of this.
The issue of border closure is a very important matter, both for government and for the private sector. And it is important that we look at all the key dimensions and ramifications of the issue so that we can arrive at a kind of consensus on the way forward. As we have seen during the discussions, there are some positive outcomes that we have seen, and there are also some challenges that has resulted from the border closure. So all of these issues are going to form the basis of further engagement with the government on the need to review some of these things and to see how we can move forward, so that the challenges that we are facing will be will be mitigated, and the benefits that we are seeing will also be further consolidated. So it's a basis for further engagement, and we'll take this further with the policymakers. Well, what I will be telling those of us in the private sector is that government means well by virtue of this policy, and the government is, of course, open to further engagement on this. And part of the reasons that we have put this forum together is to get the views of the various stakeholders. And we are going to use this to further engage the government on the need to review the current position of things.
The outgoing controller of Muritala Muhammed International Airport, Ikeja, has said that passengers should always comply with the rules of the airport. The outgoing controller, who is now a promoted Assistant Controller General of Customs, said that passengers should always declare their foreign exchange before traveling out of the country. He speaks more on a number of issues.
That is the position of the law. And the laws that are guiding this, we have a number of legislations that are guiding it. The most important one is the Money Laundering Prohibition Act, 2011. This was amended in 2013. There are about 4 sections, Section 1, Section 2, Section 6, and Section 16 of this particular act, Money Laundering Prohibition Act, criminalizes any attempt by a traveler to cross our borders or to travel out of the country or into the country if you do not declare any amounts in the excess of $10,000. If you also declare and you make a wrong declaration, it's also an offense. So if, for example, you are traveling with $50,000 and you declare 20, and then they found on you that you have actually underdeclared, it is an offense. Such money can be confiscated, and there are a number of other supporting laws that also makes you liable. I also talk about Section 2 of the Foreign Exchange Act. That has been a very old prohibition of 1995. And then we also have the SEMA in Section 8, Section 71, 72, 75, Sections 150 and Section 161, where provisions are made for forfeiture of this money if they are not declared or if they are declared wrongly. So, but if you are traveling and you don't have an amount up to 10,000, maybe you are carrying something in the region of $7,000 or $8,000, you are just supposed to fill this and answer no. Are you carrying so amount? No, I am not. And then you sign it and you give it to customs that you will find after the final screening. This form is normally administered to you when you are checking in. When you are checking in, where you collect your boarding pass, they give you the immigration form and then they give you this form that you're supposed to complete. For inward bound passengers, some big airlines administer this form while you are still on board before you land. But if you are not given this form inside a flight and you are carrying more than $10,000, you are advised to ask for the customs currency declaration desk so that you can get this form and complete it. There is nothing to fear about it, as the Controller General has said. It is just important for us to monitor movement of foreign exchange and be sure that these foreign currencies do not end up in some criminal networks or people that are through which operations the security and the economy of Nigeria has been undermined.
Yes,
The boss.
What has happened to him?
Well, since he was the only person that was arrested, he has become the subject, unfortunately, the only subject of our investigation as at that time. He made some useful statements to us. He remained in custody. We offered him bail if he wanted, but the family could not meet up with the bail conditions as at the time he was in Lagos. And when the team of investigators from Customs Headquarters came, they got statements from the seasoned officers, and they needed the suspect to also assist their investigation. So he has been transferred with the case file to Customs Headquarters in Abuja. I believe that if he meets the bail conditions set for him, he would be granted bail.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The Federal Operation Unit Zone A has intercepted a cylinder loaded with rice by smugglers. The acting controller in charge of the unit, Deputy Controller Yusuf Yahya, said that in spite of smugglers' trick, Customs is waiting for them with a better organized ways of arresting them and intercepting their consignment. It could be recalled that 2 weeks ago, the Controller General of Customs visited Lagos, where pangolin worth 10 billion naira was intercepted by the unit. The unit also intercepted 1,393 bags of smuggled foreign rice, 183 jerry cans, 66 drums of vegetable oil, 625 cartons of poultry products, and 50 jerry cans of foreign vegetable oil from unapproved routes were also intercepted from smugglers along the Ogun State axis. The smuggled rice, vegetable oil were conveyed in 12 different vehicles. He advised legitimate traders to be compliant with the declaration, as the unit is ever ready to facilitate legitimate trade in the country.
Reiterate the fact that we have border drift, our people are still insisting on smuggling items, vegetable oil, poultry product, rice, as we have seen it. It's always finding its way as a result of the tendency of our people to commit crime. And that's one of our biggest problems. And when people say customs are being too hard, we are running all over the street and intercepting and checking people, this is the end result. If we don't, and we concentrate at the border, they have found the ways of bringing in these things. And that's why customs law allow us to follow these things even up to your bedroom. If in your bedroom we suspect that there is something like this, the law allows us, without going to court to ask for any warrant. We have automatic warrant built in the law. We will go into that bedroom and search, we'll cordon and search and extricate what we believe is illicit. So, as for customs, there's no relentlessness. We will continue to do what we're doing. Even though we close the borders partially, these are the result of what we're seeing. These things are still coming into our country. So we need the cooperation of our people. We need the cooperation of the press to help us so that we can get the right information so that we can work. Customs are to intercept, do the preliminary investigation. NESRIA will take over from there. It's just like drugs. NAFDAC will take over. So this one we will hand over to NESRIA because it is their own mandate. We are not going to do anything apart from this one that we have done. We will do the preliminary investigation and package everything and hand it over to NESRIA. Then you can follow up there and find out what happens to it.
The secret is compliance and discipline among my own officers. We are always compliant. And the advice to smugglers is this: they should always stay away, and they should choose good business that can aid them, but they should stay away from smuggling.
The controller in charge of FOU Zone C said of the decision the importance of seized items, we have to forfeit them to the government. He said the importance were guilty of false declaration, an offense which contravenes Section 46 of Customs laws. Added that the pre-arrival assessment report power for the containers indicates that they had been loaded with industrial salt and agricultural products.
With all government efforts to improve the economy, or the national economy, those we see as our albatross will not desist from going against government policies. We have 3 containers brought in, they got their power as industrial salt. It's when you open this in, what we have there, are they industrial salt? Even the 3 containers, there's no single bag of salt there. They are laden with what do you call it, red grape champagne, non-alcoholic. This is not salt. This is, first of all, this one is not even allowed to come to the country because it's prohibited. Because it's not alcoholic drink. These are the things that can be done in Nigeria. We have Chivita, we have all these things over everywhere. It's prohibited for coming to the country. You can see sea of cartons brought into the country under this guise of coming into Nigeria with salt. Salt. This is not salt. This is non-alcoholic drink. All this is just to evade payment of duty. At the same time, this one is even a contraband. They got power as salt. They are carrying something else. They say it was not even concealed at all. So you can see where we are heading to in the country. But the only thing there is that no matter how you go about it, you meet us there.
The controller said that the importance of the seized items were trying to invade import duty, adding that the duty for the real content of the containers was higher.
Change their tactics. What they do now is that to go through the port and conceal whatever they have. We have containers here of laden with bra, pants, and all sorts of things like that. Bra, this is ladies' bra, ladies' pant, and men's pant, declared as agricultural sprayers. Whereas we have just only 23 pieces of this one in the container. and you can see what we have in the container itself. The power they got is based on this, and it was released as agricultural pressure sprayer. But with the good heart of the officer, we was able to put them on the way. You can see this jumbo base of pants and bra. All is to evade payment of duty. Because this one they were brought in under 5%. Whereas garments pays under 20% and 5% VAT. But this one pays just 5%. Just to evade payment of duty. Because there's no more way for you to smuggle through border now. Because most of the borders are tightening up. But they are changing their tactics. And as they are changing their tactics, we too took steps ahead of them. Whatever they do, we know. We have credible intelligence coming in from Abuja, coming from the headquarters. There's nothing you do anywhere that is not known to them at the headquarters. And we get this information, we act on them. No matter the time you pick your containers or you come into the country, we get you arrested. If you go to our warehouse at Enugu and Calabar, we have all these things that will be taking you there next week to see what we have over there. Then the total, yes, the total PPV altogether is 143,200,000.
According to him, red grape juice is prohibited from coming into the country because the importation can render local fruit juice companies moribund, leading to unemployment and economic insecurity. These buses were also carrying between 13 and 29 cartons of tramadol drugs valued at 6 million naira. The controller said that the seized drugs with high potential to cause harm is also a major risk factor capable of destroying the lives of many youths due to reported widespread abuses.
You see, this is buses. These buses is a very known company, international for that matter. Unfortunately, it depends on at times, the drivers, perhaps the passengers, connivance, greed, like I said, and a smuggler can go to any extent of trying to convince whoever, just for his own selfish interest. At the end, we were able to intercept these vehicles, and when they were intercepted, they were having a lot of drugs inside, especially amphetamine. Not only that, but actually main offending thing, we found out that it was amphetamine. And in the first place, remember, since the closure of the border, 20th August, no import, no export. That is the national policy. So even if it's not amphetamine, you are not allowed to bring in sweet in cartons, example, importation of sweets, talk less of drugs. The vehicles, you know, usually what they used to do is, when you now intercept them, knowing what they have done, some of them, before you even know who is the driver, let's open your boot, let's this, you will not be able to see them because they know what they are doing. They are run away. Of course, we used to pursue because we were able to pursue some and we arrested some. But in this case, before you even open the boot, no driver, nobody, because it was the Bali himself driving the vehicle. He ran away. 3,199,295 naira. This one also, you can look at it. You can see how they think they can be able to try the Nigerian Customs Service. But like I said, we are ready. Battle ready for them.
It just includes 1,113 bags of foreign rice, 24,710 liters of petroleum products, 188 cartons of frozen products, 105 materials, 22 vehicles, and 84 sacks of used clothing.
This was also intercepted by our men. And at the same time, they tried to push it into the market. Unfortunately, this seizure was made not only once or two, because we made one again, even at the Ecos gate side. We made one at the creek side. So you can imagine what is happening. Even the vehicles, I told you, we made some again there. So these people are so desperate to the extent they don't want to relent, simply for the fact that there is no patriotism. Because they are Nigerians like you and me. highly because of the greed. They had become something else, highly unpatriotic and highly desperate. But I'm assure you, this is the oath we will never relent.
The acting controller also seeks 10 sacks of melon, 89 cartons of margarine, stockfish, and 23 bundles of colorated papers. Just before I round up this week edition of the program, Custom Support, we brought you a report USMA Command made seizure of goods worth millions of naira. For me, Igeseme Edine, thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching Custom Reports TV. Do not forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video.